That's right, baby. Tankers Fantasy Football is back up in that ass. I am here with you. Travis is out dicking around, fucking with his new house. So we got the Wiggles, Michael Stansfer, here to co-host with me this evening. And we're going to dive right into some free agents and some dudes that are on different teams. And we're going to cover some draft analysis of the draft fallout of what it means for these players that are drafted and the dudes that were already on the teams that they've been drafted to. We're going to go right into some running back free agents. I think the number one winner here, a guy that can jump right into RB2 PPR value. We're talking about Jerick McKinnon. I know he has never had really bell cow work, but the opportunity is there to be had with Carlos Hyde out the door.
Absolutely, man. He's someone who oozes physical talent. Again, he hasn't necessarily had the opportunity to assume lead back duties, but I think he's in a solid situation with Jimmy G at quarterback. He's a guy, he could see at least 60 catches, could even push for a few more than that, I'd reckon.
Yeah, I mean, if he can stay healthy and they are looking to run him out there as like almost like an every down back that might get spelled a couple series a game, I mean, we could be looking at solid RB2 production. And speaking of Carlos Hyde, he went to the Browns, you know, so that was kind of good. When he went to the Browns, I was like, okay, the Browns aren't going to take Barkley, so that's fucking good for me because I already got the bone. I had Josh Gordon, then the fucking Dolphins traded the Browns Landry, so now I got two fucking Browns, and I was like, please, don't give me three fucking Browns. It didn't happen. Barkley's on the Giants, all is right with the world out there. But Carlos Hyde, now that Chubb has been drafted there, and Duke Johnson, who I think is probably the highest PPR value guy on the Browns.
Speaking of catching passes here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for PPR value from the Cleveland Browns, you got to be looking at Duke Johnson. I mean, Chubb, you know, he was really good at the combine and whatnot. I have the second spark or whatever behind and running backs behind Barkley. But I mean, I'm just not really looking for much out of Chubb or Hyde this year. I mean, I think they're going to be basically fighting for opportunity out there on a team that might be playing from behind quite a bit.
See, and I would agree with that. You know, the smart money would be on with a rookie quarterback. You'd want to establish that ground game early. But again, chances are they'll be playing from behind. Seeing a lot of third down situations,
a lot of Duke Johnson,
a lot of swing routes, a lot of stuff like that that's going to get our boy out in space.
And we got the Love Knife Deluxe. Love Knife Deluxe.
Ha!
DeMarco Murray leaves fucking town, right? So they come out on Roto World. They're like, we can't wait to see what Derrick Henry has to offer. We love him so much, we're gonna go ahead and stab him right in the fucking kidneys and bring in Dion Lewis. Like, what the fuck? The team that I like, what the fuck, Lions? You can't bring in old Dion Lewis to just save my Derrick Henry stock out there? I mean, Derrick Henry's stock just absolutely plummeted.
Oh, it's terrible.
As soon as Dion Lewis was signed, I don't really know what to fucking do with it. I guess I'm glad. I mean, if he's going in like the 6th or 7th round in these, I don't know. I mean, we haven't really done any mocks, haven't really become a thing yet.
No.
But I mean, if he's going in the 6th, 7th round, I got him in the 8th last year. If we can get him in the 8th again, I'm down with taking that ride.
Hold him, see what happens.
Yeah, you can't go into week 1 being like Derrick Henry's my RB2. That is fucked.
Never. And if Dion Lewis has shown us anything, it's that under even larger, somewhat larger workloads, he has propensity to kind of break down.
Yeah, but I think there's going to come in, it's going to be almost like a 50-50 split. I mean, Derrick Henry's probably going to be getting these goal line carries, but you just don't know, especially in PPR.
Yeah, and you can't bank on a guy getting those kind of carries every single game.
I mean, if he's relying, I'd rather have a guy that relies on catches more than a guy that relies on touchdowns, and especially in a PPR format.
All day.
We got
and especially on the Titans. Sorry.
We're being the dead and gone, the Dolphins. I used to hate on that the Bears got rid of Adam Gase. I thought he might have been maybe we should have held him on, been the successor to John Fox, but I just don't fucking know anymore because the Dolphins are a steaming pile of shit.
Who are they? What are they?
They're the Miami Browns.
What are they? Leave comments. Let us know what you think of the Dolphins, please.
What do you think? You know what the fucking?
I'm open to suggestions.
They get rid of Ajayi, you know, who had his problems with the coaching staff, but Ajayi's fucking happy. He says, fuck you, kiss your ass later. I got a Super Bowl ring now. And then they get rid of Landry, who, I mean, of course, he's not really like he's not, you look at Landry, and he's not like top shelf.
Yeah, he's not Julio Jones. He's not Antonio Brown. But what he is a chain-moving receiver. He's a guy that fights for yards.
Did you see Landry at that wide receiver competition at the Pro Bowl?
No, I didn't.
He was eating motherfuckers alive.
This is what he does, though.
He was fucking grinding out there. I mean,
He's a machine.
I think it's more of a lateral move for Landry, though. Speaking of Landry, I think Landry to the Browns is not killing his value.
No,
it's not like he had the God amongst men, Tom Brady, whatever, the Peyton Manning used to be of the world.
Ryan
throwing
Tannehill.
rock.
Or Matt Moore.
In the J-Rock.
Or Jay Cutler, yeah. J-Rock, baby.
J-Rock who can't find a fucking job anymore.
Ha.
J-Rock.
Broadcast booth. What?
Jay Cutler can't find. So I mean, you know, we're looking at Tyrod Taylor, who's serviceable. You know, he's not really gunslinging out there. And then we got the old fucking Baker Mayfield who's doing Brett Favre poses. And I'm thinking Baker Mayfield. We're looking at a guy that has a very high completion percentage rate and a guy that likes to catch fucking triple-digit passes. So I'm thinking maybe if Baker's on the field, we're gonna see some Landry.
Oh, I think so too. If anything, Landry's proven in the past he's a reliable target for his quarterbacks, and I think that a slot receiver is just money for any.
I mean,
any
you're talking
rookie
3rd and 5. We're talking Jarvis Landry is money in the bank.
Shawty, what you drank?
You want a fucking first down on 3rd and 5? Look no further than your boy Jarvis Landry. And I'm a Josh Gordon owner, and I'm a little bit afraid because I think Landry's going to be vacuuming up these targets. Too. I think Gordon might be more of a best ball player going into the season almost. I mean, if you're looking to running Josh Gordon out there week 1, I mean, if he goes out there in preseason and lights the fucking world on fire, then that's a different fucking story.
Then do it. Start him all day. I think you start Josh Gordon if you're looking at more of that higher boom.
Yeah.
As opposed to where Landry could provide you a pretty solid floor every week.
Oh, yeah. PPR Landry is wide receiver 2 floor deluxe out there.
Love it.
But yeah, no, LeGarrette Blount, he's down there in Detroit.
Dark.
I mean, maybe the Lions just won a Super Bowl ring because wherever LeGarrette Blount goes,
they're winning those fucking Lombardi.
He brings fucking Super Bowls. So
what he's got going for him, man. Bro.
I mean, they're bringing him in there. He's a plotter. They kind of need a goal line back because they've been fucking garbage.
And if anything, it's an indictment of who they have there. Or who they've had
inside the 5 rushing, the Lions have just been fucking garbage. They're looking at guys like Zach Zinner as your best back at the goal line. That is fucking
Dwayne
garbage.
Washington from the depths.
I mean, you might as well bring in John Kuhn because at least he knows he's got a little nose for the end zone. I mean, these other fucking dick bums, Amir Abdullah ain't doing a goddamn thing.
You know, and I had a lot of love for Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, I did. We're coming into the league.
It's been 3 seasons, man.
He made that fucking cut in preseason his first year. It got everybody's fucking panties all wet.
I loved it, dude. He looked so good.
He got everybody's panties all wet, but he has done dick shit all. He even tried to bring the hype train back during the preseason last year. But man, you get into Showtime, you turn the fucking lights on, and Amir Abdullah goes limp dick.
Where does he go?
He limp dick bastard you all fucking night long.
He's a tease, man.
Got the whiskey dick out there.
Teasing.
All right, J. Stu, he went to the Giants. Barkley's there. J. Stu's value straight in the fucking toilet.
Don't even.
Straight in the toilet.
The only way he has value is if our boy gets hurt. But
then even if J. Stu's the bell cow, I mean, we're looking at RB3 production at best. If he's touching the football 15 to 20 times a game, he's still not sexy boy deluxe.
No, forget about it. There's no value to him.
You got some Doug Martin went to the Raiders. Him and Marshawn Lynch are gonna fucking.
You know, if there's one thing though that the Raiders are doing, they are trying to really take the game back about 20 years. And you know, when you're out there signing, blocking tight ends, you're out there making moves for fullbacks, baby. You're kicking punters off your team. Oh, John Gruden wants to send a message, boys.
Crabtree's gone. Messages. He was kind of a vocal guy. He's out the door, bringing old Dirty Whitey and Jordy Nelson. And I just don't know. I mean, they paid like Jordy as much as they were going to pay Crabtree. Crabtree got from the Ravens. I mean, I'm not that big of a Crabtree guy, but you got to think at this stage in his career, Crabtree's fucking better than old Jordy.
Well,
fuck's sakes.
I would think he's more of a sure thing. We know what Crabtree is. What is Jordy Nelson right now?
I mean, without Aaron Rodgers throwing him open, Jordy Nelson was exposed.
Absolutely, man. And I'll say too, for the change in quarterback that happened, it sure didn't hurt what the hell's his name? Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams is out there living, breathing, and dying with old Brett Hundley out there ducking and sucking the ball. Looking like a sexy deluxe back in wide receiver one. Devontae Adams with Jordy was out there dying a slow, terrible death.
Wounded gazelle on the field, babe.
If there are any running backs and free agents that move teams that we forgot, hit us up in that fucking comment section.
Let us know.
And we will give you what you think about them. Moving on to some wide receivers that have switched teams. Straight on into the Bears. Getting Allen Robinson coming off an ACL. But, I mean, the Bears needed it. Regardless of him coming off that ACL, I think the Bears fucking needed it.
You know, and one thing, too, for the Bears, they've done well this year to establish a willingness to be aggressive, not only in their free agent moves, but also in their draft, which we'll probably touch on at some point here. But
what shows trust already that
Absolutely.
you look at their Pace drafted Trubisky last year. John Fox didn't even fucking know they were going to do that, but Pace is actually in there talking with Nagy, talking with Vic Fangio about who they think is a good fit. I mean, he's not necessarily taking who they say, but he's definitely let him get some fucking input in there. And John Fox is sitting at his house not even knowing that the Bears are going to trade up and draft a franchise quarterback, or who they hope is a franchise quarterback. I mean, that's something you think the head coach would want to know, but
you think they'd at least communicate it to him.
And the Pace was probably just like, fuck John, he's out the door, I hate him. They almost made him. I feel like they almost made Pace sign John Fox.
I do too. It's the lame duck, you know.
Yeah, God, he's so bad.
We're gonna have 1 year of just garbage.
We already hit on Landry a little bit in the running back section. We're gonna skip over him straight into Sammy Watkins.
Oh baby!
And I mean, Sammy Watkins went to Rams. I mean, Jared Goff was clanging and banging, and Watkins just wasn't getting it sexy at all.
No, I'm telling you, if Sean McVay can't make it happen for you, I don't know.
He's got Tyreek Hill there, you know. I mean, Sammy Watson's kind of that deep ball guy a little bit there. At least he was for the Rams. I mean, Tyreek Hill is that deep ball guy for the fucking Chiefs. I just don't know where this lands. Is Sammy Watkins? I'm a little bit afraid. I don't think you can go into your redrafts with thinking that he can be any more than a flex play for you at the beginning of the season.
At absolute best, if he catches 3 passes a game.
I mean, if you're in a 12-team league and you got Sammy Watkins in your flex week 1, I mean, you don't feel that bad about it. But I mean, until further notice, until you see if he can get anything done, especially with Mahomes, he's an unknown too. I mean, he's got some raving reviews, but we don't really know what the fucking cookie's going to crumble on that shit either.
No, I know it. You know, and too, to kind of touch on Tyreek Hill too, he's a guy too. They use him all over the place in the formation. They'll line him up anywhere, absolutely anywhere, to get him the ball. And so I think when you have an offense that tries to scheme one player in heavily, it really caps, for instance, your number 2 wide receiver, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, and Kelsey's there.
Value. And then, of course, without even diving into Travis Kelce, who's a target monster.
The intermediate routes are dominated by old Travis Kelce out there. The underneath's kind of a Kareem Hunt thing. I don't know. Sammy Watkins needs to get an identity. I mean, they gave him the money to say that they're going to try to get it sexy with him. They definitely paid him like he's actually been getting it done, when in reality, he really only had that shine in 6 games for the Bills. Like I think it was his second year. He shone out there and shined at the end of the year for the Bills. But other than that, he has been very pedestrian through his NFL career.
Man, absolutely. And partially, too, due to just the fact that he picks up nicks and bruises, and I think he, struggles to kind of shake that stuff off and play through it.
Yeah, Jordy, we already hit on him. He went out to the Raiders to die. I don't know. I know he's going to be a part of that offense, and I think Gruden's going to try to force him the ball.
What are the Raiders, though?
But I think only thing Jordy does as a Raider is to hurt the production of Cooper and now Martavis Bryant.
You know, but I mean, when you have the lid lifter in Martavis Bryant, you know what he is.
Yeah, the Raiders got a couple of fucking giant disappointments on their team, Cooper and Martavis Bryant. They don't want just one giant disappointment at the wide receiver position. We're going to need ourselves 2.
2 of them, baby.
I just don't understand that at all.
Amari's the perennial tease.
I ain't getting fucked. I ain't buying into that bullshit. You want Amari Cooper in the 2nd round? You go fucking ahead, because I ain't on that shit. I'm done with that shit. I'm done with it. Crabtree's a Raven. Old Joe Money. Now they got Lamar Jackson kind of waiting in the wing out there. I think Crabtree's kind of a Band-Aid, kind of a stopgap. I don't necessarily see him being there for a couple of years, and I just don't know. I mean, I think he can maybe get you the 8 touchdowns, but the yards are just not going to be there for Crabtree anymore.
I don't think he's going to provide much in terms of yards. I think his role in Baltimore will be similar to his role in Oakland.
He's got a knack inside the 10 to get a little open and make it happen to get to those 7, 8, 9 touchdowns. But
and he shows strong hands. He has strong hands, man. I'll say that about Crabtree.
I think they were looking at a ceiling of like 70 for 807 or 8 for the Ravens this year for Crabtree, which isn't that bad.
No.
That's solid flex play numbers.
I'd go maybe even a little under, given we don't know what the hell they're going to be doing. Are they going to be rolling Joe Flacco out in a wheelchair? We're not entirely sure. You know, I really hope not. Let's get it, Lamar.
More Ravens. They got downtown John Brown.
Oh baby!
I don't really expect much to happen with that.
No, I don't either. But if he's healthy, maybe we could see some flashes of what we saw a couple of years ago from him. That straight line, just burn your ass.
If Flacco has anything, it's a fucking cannon for an arm. He can throw that bitch downfield with the best of them.
He sure as hell can. Almost sexy Rexy like.
Brandon Cooks to the Rams. Now this is a big trade. The Patriots.
Yeah.
He's on. This is his 3rd team in 3 years.
And you know the one thing about the Pats, we know they don't pay guys. We know they're not paying guys.
They're not going to pay him.
If you're not Tom Brady, you're not Rob Gronkowski. I'm sorry.
Well, Gronk's even like the 3rd or 4th highest paid tight end. That's ridiculous.
And that's the truth of it too.
That's fucking gross.
That's an excellent point for what he is.
Are you telling me
such a difference maker?
You can't make him at least the number 1 or number 2, like 3 or 4? Like Jesus Christ out there! Like what the fuck's going on out there, Patriots? I mean, it's coming to the point where you want a title or you want money. I mean, you think you want the title now, but I'm telling you, 10 years down the road, you're gonna wish you would have taken that money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When you're 45, 50 years old,
busted.
You're going to wish you would have taken that fucking extra few $1 million. I bet you do.
Still hurting every day. Anyway, back to Cooks.
Oh, yeah. I completely lost focus there.
Yeah, I get a little derailed here. Cooks is interesting. He's a guy that's shown great straight line speed throughout his career. He's also a guy that shows a knack for going up and getting balls. I wonder if the variable in this equation isn't Brandon Cooks but Jared Goff. I know.
I mean, if he's entering the Sammy Watkins role, I'm afraid.
Yeah?
I'm very afraid.
Are you afraid of him underproducing?
Yes. I mean, he went out there and got 65 for 1080 and 7 or 8 touchdowns last year.
He caught 8 touchdowns.
8 touchdowns. And that's good. Well, and I mean that's solid. That's solid wide receiver 2 production with some boom bust weeks like Brandon Cooks has always loved to do throughout his career.
He's winning you weeks. He's losing you weeks too.
I mean, they got Gurley. A couple looked good last year. Robert Woods is surprisingly looking very sexy out of nowhere.
Robert Woods, baby.
So,
Cooper Kupp. I mean,
if Brandon Cooks is going in the 2nd or 3rd round, I might have to pass.
Yeah.
The pass. Des Bryant is yet to find a home. Ravens offered him money, turned him down.
Turns him down, says he wants a prove-it deal.
Buffalo Bills said they watched tape and they aren't interested. Well, the Buffalo Bills are like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, and we're talking about a wide receiving core.
We're talking about
the cupboard is pretty barren.
We're talking about our second wide receiver in that core is the guy who's kicking out windows at fucking hotels, running down the fucking hallway,
Jones,
goddamn
baby.
Bleeding to death.
I mean,
That's your number 2.
May or may not have been high on synthetic marijuana. Haven't heard the full story on that yet.
Why do people smoke fake weed?
I do not
understand.
They
Why would you
really
smoke fake
check out?
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Just let them piss positive for THC instead of fucking forcing them. I mean, you're not forcing anybody to smoke fake weed. I understand that, but
I mean, you kind of are though.
Well, if you want to smoke weed, I guess they're forced to forced to smoke fucking fake weed, and that's just I don't know, man.
That's how you wind up.
Players, they're sore, they're injured. Let them smoke a couple doobies on a Monday or Tuesday to loosen up.
No big deal.
Maybe Sunday night after the game, take it easy, kick back. watch the Sunday night game after they played the Nooners. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
They're not kicking out hotel windows in their spare time.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. It's bad news.
All right, into the draft fallout here. We got Barkley, of course, to the Giants, putting the stake
The
in
G-Man.
the J-Stew.
The G-Man.
Well, I'm not necessarily that excited about it. He's not going to face those 8 or 9 man boxes because they got to worry about Beckham, they got to worry about Shepard, they got to worry about Evan Ingram.
Oh, man.
Even if it is noodle arm Eli out there, they can't stack the box against a rookie running back.
Well,
they're going to have to respect that.
The fact that the Giants take Barkley number 2, they pass on all of those quarterbacks.
When that
They had
fucker-
four more quarterbacks on the board.
When
at
he
the
came
time.
out and was like, "I want this second pick overall to be able to put a gold jacket on," I was like, "He's taking Barkley."
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely.
I mean, it was between him or Chubb because you can't come out there and say gold jackets with any of those quarterbacks that came out this year.
Not yet, man.
Whispering gold
Not
jackets.
yet.
I mean, Barkley, I know it has to be seen. His rushing production did kind of take a dip in 2017. A lot of people are saying because he was like, just trying not to get injured out there so he can collect his checks,
Right.
which, I understand. Kind of what Clowney did.
Just a little bit. Just slightly reminiscent of
What Clowney
some
did.
things we've seen from players cashing it in. But I mean, you see a guy that's 6 foot even, 233 pounds. He's a grinder.
Run like a 4.42 at that weight.
I mean,
he's a beast.
I think he's a guy that's winning out there with power and balance. He's a grinder.
His pass catching ability is next level. I mean, we're talking about
He's clean.
a generational talent, and he is a relatively smart kid
Yeah.
with no bad history. I mean, the kid looks like he's got his fucking head on his shoulders
He's a
out there.
clean prospect. I mean, really, he's a clean prospect.
I mean, it is all around good. I know you have to take him. I know maybe you got high on. You're like, well, I'm going to be a little smart, Mark. I'm not going to fucking take him. I'm going to take this other guy. And I'm telling you, you take him or you fucking look like a dipshit if he pans out. I mean, if he pans out, anybody can bust in the NFL. Absolutely anybody can bust. There's no fucking way you pass on this guy, at number 1 overall in either a dynasty or any kind of keeper league.
I mean, man, you're looking at a guy that could potentially rewrite records,
Well,
not only for the Giants but for the NFL
yeah.
too.
Looking at some guys now that we really like their landing spots because opportunity will be there for the taking.
Take
We're
us
lead it
away.
off with some Darius Geis
Take us away.
going to the Redskins. They say he's got a little maturity issue. There might be a little bit of an investigation that there's something, I don't know, smoke and mirrors. Nobody really knows about this investigation business.
Who knows? What is it?
What even is it? They don't even
When did it happen?
Yeah, they don't even know. So if that blows over and he, stops being a high maintenance out there, we're looking at a Redskins squad who is ripe for the taking.
Absolutely. Is he better than Leonard Fournette?
I mean, you can't come. You can't give him that. But I mean,
Absolutely. Okay.
but my God, is he? For how
the
big
things-
he is, those cuts he was making in that open field on those videos were fucking Zeke Elliott like.
The things he shows on tape, he's a
Stop.
guy you have to just watch because he's so electric. He's so electric to watch.
His stop and go like 30 yards down the field was, it's sexy deluxe out there. For a guy 5'11", 220 running a 4.49 40. I mean, we're talking about a guy, Samarji Pirine, that's a fucking dick bomb if I ever seen him. Fat Rob, dick bomb, deluxe. The only thing you got to worry about is Chris Thompson, who kind of had a fucking fairy tale season last year.
I mean, and he's
PPR fairy tale anyway.
I think he's a bit of a niche player at that, man. I mean, again, a primarily a receiving back, third down guy that happened to just kind
Coming
of
off a severe injury.
just happened to kind of luck into the workload.
He's not a spring chicken either.
No, he's not. But you have a guy in Leonard Fournette again. Excuse me. Similar to Leonard Fournette. Darius Geis, as I said about our boy back here, Saquon, winning with power and balance. And something else about Darius Geis is when you watch his tape, you notice his vision right away. He allows his offensive line to set up in front what he needs to. He makes a cut, and he goes.
Yeah, he's not running up offensive linemen's back
No.
like some of these dudes.
No.
Like that was a report of
No.
I think Ronald Jones. They said he has great great straight line speed, but he has a little bit of problem with just running up his offensive
When
line's
you're
back.
smacking into the back of guys, you're pinballing off of guys, you're not going anywhere. You know, and I think if the Redskins are smart with Alex Smith at the helm, they might try to utilize a lot of 12 personnel, some heavier formations to really help that running game develop.
I think, I don't know. I don't see any way Darius Geis can't come in and win the job in training camp.
He has to.
Absolutely ridiculous.
If we're not seeing it, I don't know. Something's wrong.
Surprise pick in the first round, Rashad Penny. I mean, the Seahawks came in there. They said, we know what we want. We're taking it now. But if you look at the tape on this guy,
watch him.
It's sexy boy deluxe. We're talking about a NCAA leading 86 missed tackles, forced missed tackles. You know who's in second place? Second place was what? Who we got here in second place? Ronald Jones. He only had 58. We're talking about 28 more from first to second place in forced missed tackles. Wow. We're talking about 35 runs of 15 yards or more from Ronald Penny. We're talking about 4.46 40, 92nd percentile speed score. And I mean, the only thing they're saying, he might need some blocking work out there, which he's going to need because that Russell Wilson's going to need some protection because that offensive line isn't very sexy. But there is no reason. I mean, Chris Carson be fucking damned. There is no reason why this guy can't come out there and get it sexy right away.
You know, I liked a lot of what I saw to Chris Carson last season, seeing how he tried to make it work behind that patchwork offensive line. And this is a guy in Rashad Penny who lived and died making it work behind that offensive line. And a lot of times he was living out there in a big way. Got a guy that went for 2,200 yards, 23 rushing touchdowns at almost 8 yards a carry last year.
Yeah, 7.5 yards per carry college. His college career, he had a 7 point. I mean, that is gross.
I mean, and granted, he's not facing SEC defenses week in and week out, but to amass those numbers is an impressive.
This is next level shit from Rashad Penny. I mean,
watch his tape.
Nobody was saying he should be going in the first. Maybe the Seahawks are onto something here. They at least definitely like the cut of his jib because they picked him in the first. I think it's all in Rashad Penny. I mean, we're going to see in training camp and in preseason, but I think he might be my third guy that on the wish list behind Barkley and Geis coming off these rookie boards right now.
You know, and I would buy into that too, if for no other reason than the fact that guy is a fighter. You see him out there finishing runs, fighting for extra yards. That's a guy you can definitely.
I mean, Sony Michel going to the Pats. You know, the next guy here. I mean, Deion Lewis is out of town, but I mean, you never fucking know what's going to go on with the Pats. Next thing you know, Burkhead's getting 20 carries in this game that you just happen to start Sony Michel. I mean, it's going to be so fucking hard. Sony Michel's how you say it right. I'm fucking really bad.
Yeah, no, you're
Sony Michel.
You're right. It is Sony Michel.
I mean, he had 7.9 yards per carry as a senior. I mean, that's fucking filth. That is fucking so death doing it so dirty. That's so sexy to watch.
Splitting work at that.
4.54 40. Problem is he had 12 fumbles, and if he can't get that fumble shit under control, the Bill Belichick and the Pats will pull the fucking plug on his ass faster than shit.
Absolutely. You will be banished.
That is one team that you definitely don't get away with fucking fumbling the football. No. If he fumbles the football once, we might not see him again for 2 months.
And you know, they might bury him under the Mass Turnpike too. And, you know, it depends. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus. I mean, we're talking about a Sony Michel fumble inside the 5-yard line. We might talk about healthy scratch Sony Michel for the next few weeks, which is a little bit dicey. And the reason why I do like Geis and Penny over him, and maybe even Ronald Jones, this next guy I'm about to talk about. I mean, the opportunity in Tampa Bay is definitely there. I mean, Doug Martin's gone. Who we got fighting? Peyton Barber?
Chris Sims?
Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, my God. Sims.
Get him out of there. Get him. Just get him out of there.
He is so dead in the water. He is a... I don't want to... You got to think that they're going to run out. They're 5'11", 205, so he's a little bit smallish, but he did force the second missed tackles with that 58 behind Rashad Penny. I mean, my goodness, look at his last year. We're talking about 261 carries for over 1,500 yards and 19 touchdowns.
Dirty. and again with a much clearer path to playing time than our.
When I
than our
watch tape, I kind of
aforementioned
see a little bit of a Jamal Charles in him. Just the way of his shift is.
Got a little
kinda-
wiggle?
Yeah, he has a. You know how Charles kind of ran with that straight leg kind of
Yeah.
look. Like how's he running that fast, but his legs aren't really bending like that. You know, he kind of had that stiff hip kind of
That
look to him,
glide
but he's
almost.
just wired
That's that glide, man.
He does have that little bit of a glide to him. And I am interested in the Ronald Jones Tampa Bay. I mean, those are definitely the 5 guys that I like their landing spots the most.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna have to do some studying on him.
I
I
like
like that stat line a lot, man.
I like Nick Chubb. I mean, but I just hate his landing spot.
I know.
Hate him.
And you know when
I hate
you hear about people talking about Nick Chubb too, they talk about just this scintillating upside. This guy's an absolute monster, you know, coming in. But what's his character concerns here?
I mean, he's got 4.52 on the 40. He got a 10-foot 8-inch broad jump, which is very good for a guy his size. Like I said, he was the second highest rated back behind Barkley. But his landing spot, especially in redraft, I know Dynasty's a little bit different animal. Kind of hold on to him and wait for Carlos Hyde to fuck off.
Yeah, see, and that's where I'm at too with it. Is you're gonna need to definitely see how those other 2 running backs are gonna pan out. I would think before you even think about investing any kind of substantial draft capital in our boy here. That being said, I mean, seeing the guy on tape again, he's a violent runner.
Oh, yeah. Kerryon Johnson, you know, he went to the Lions. Maybe you fear a little bit for Blunt, but I'm just not so sure. The guy only averaged only 4 yards a carry in college. And he did run a little bit better than expected with the 4.5 but I'm just not too excited about Kerryon Johnson and the Detroit Lions.
I don't think you can get excited about Lions backs in general.
Yeah.
You know, granted historically they haven't shown us much these last few seasons at all. They're probably pushing, I think, 3 seasons without a 100-yard rusher. That's kind of insane. In a game, a 100-yard rusher in a game. But coming from the Bill Belichick school of thought, I would think that Matt Patricia's going to do his best to employ running back by committee, keep defenses guessing. Signs Legary, you know, there's your hammer, you know, there's your big goal line specialist there. Maybe they see Kerryon Johnson as some guy you can play on 1st and 2nd down. Maybe you get him the ball in space, you know. Who knows? Old Jim Bob Cooter's
He's
calling
definitely
plays.
a guy to kind of look. You got to kind of wait and see. I mean, you can't really get into. The early draft is going to be hard to really get behind this guy. We got Royce Freeman. This is a guy that, you know, he could earn a job here for the Broncos. 6 foot 230. He set all the Oregon records for yards at over 5,600 and 64 touchdowns. That's another Oregon record. I mean, this guy has 10.3 yards a catch, so he's kind of getting it done through the air too. And the only thing he has to beat out is what, Devontae Booker, who looked like
D'Angelo
dog
Henderson.
shit last year. Yeah, those 2 dudes.
I mean, what's that line looking like? I think that's going to be a big question. We've got Case Keenum under center for now. You know, I think we should wait and see on Royce Freeman, perhaps. But to your point, his path to playing time, I think, could be pretty clear, especially if he's able to really put it on in camp. And
maybe I felt a little better if John Elliott would have taken Quentin Nelson over Bradley Chubb, but I definitely understand the Bradley Chubb pick. But if they would have got Quentin Nelson here, maybe I would have bumped old Royce higher up on the prospect list.
You know, Elway gets his man.
But here's where Roto World kind of threw me a curveball. You know, they're fluffing him, and you know they're saying he's setting the yards record. They're saying he's second the touchdown record. But then they're like he's a cross between Robert Turbin and Zach Stacy, and that just made my dick just go fucking limp. I just made my dick just go fucking limp. So the best game, so we're looking at a career backup and a guy who had like 8 games in the sun in Stacy, and that's like that's the best you got for me for fucking comparisons. That is not getting me excited, dog.
No, that
is
dark.
not doing it for me.
That's so dark, Roto World. I mean, Roto World with the blowtorch here and there, though.
They do. They blast. I mean, reminds me of Robert Turbin. What has he got? The fucking pythons. 'Cause Robert Turbin's got some fucking Hulk Hogan 24 inchers.
Sick tats, bro.
24-inch python, baby. Got some Colts. isn't just another team. The running back's pretty murky. All they really got is Marlon Mack. So we're looking at Nyheim Hines. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't really fucking know. But he's from the fucking Wolf Pack, So, Wolf Pack back causing mass destruction up in this ass. He's only 5'8". He's only 200, but he did run a pretty blazing 40 at 4.38.
God damn.
He's more of like a scat back, they're saying. But, I mean, Marlon Mack's kind of a scat back, too. So it's not like he has to, I mean, if it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a head-to-head competition.
Yeah, I do too. You've got Frank Gore. They shipped him off to Florida to play golf, and I think that's about all I've got to say on our boy Nyheim Hines
or something like that. But he is in Indianapolis, looking to die a death with the rest of those Colt backs. Mark Walton went to Cincy. That's kind of just more of the drill draft our Gio Bernard replacement now for when he leaves for the Patriots next season.
Mark it down. Gio to the Pats.
The Dolphins brought in Kalen Ballage, I think his name is. Kalen Ballage.
All right.
I don't know. He's from Arizona State. And I think this marks the winning. I think Kenyon Drake won the draft and he won free agency. I think he might be looking at RB2 production.
I mean, can it be from the depths?
It might be Rainbow in the Dark. From the shit pile deluxe. We're talking about no sign of the morning coming. You're left all alone. Like a rainbow in the fucking dark. And Kenyon Drake is all alone. I mean, who are they going to... I mean, if they're going to give the ball to old dead Frank Gore, my fucking guy Adam Gase.
They can't.
What the fuck is going on? I mean, you got to think...
They can't.
They're going to be behind in games. They lost everybody. Even Sue's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Landry's gone.
Who are you throwing to out here?
Johnny's gone.
Playoff Danny Amendola. I mean, okay. Sweet. Gonna work on that tan.
He was good for the Patriots because the Patriots know how to somehow get white guys open. That's how they do it.
And you know what else you know how to do, though, is get rid of people before they have to pay them big dollars.
Danny, I don't think you have to pay
Easy. I don't think you have to pay him much, but God, they're paying him like fucking $700,000.
Offer him a 12er and a bag of nacho cheese ears. It's on the side of the dotted line, baby. All right. Getting to some wide receivers coming out of the draft. The first wide receiver off the board was a little, people were thinking Calvin Ridley, but no, it was DJ Moore. 6 foot 210, had that 97th percentile spark at the combine.
Very physical guy.
Running that 4.42 with 11-foot broad jump, so all those things are very sexy. But I mean, I know the volume might be there because the Panthers, Greg Olson's ain't getting any younger. Devin Funchess kind of is what he is. I don't think he's really much more than like a wide receiver 3 in fantasy. But I mean, DJ Moore might get the opportunity, but I just don't like the landing spot very much. I mean, the Panthers are not a team that throws for over 4,000 yards, and almost every team in the league does that.
I know, and it's scary. I mean, when you have a guy who has the versatility to play multiple positions in a formation, he's also a tough, physical tackle-breaking runner.
The guy.
I like him a lot on tape. I don't think he has quite the polish to some of his routes. But at the same time, too, what he lacks in polish or finesse, he definitely makes up for in physicality and grit. I mean, he's a good wide receiver. I kind of hate the Panthers' landing spot. To agree with you.
I mean, Calvin Ridley also got a pretty rough landing spot as well, going down to Atlanta. I mean, he's 24 years old, so he's kind of old for a rookie already. He's running that 4.43, which is pretty good. 6'1", 189, which is, a little thin, but still good. But, I mean, man, there's just some mouse to feed. Mohamed Sanu looked like he did very well last year. And so he's not going to necessarily be he's not going to just walk into the fucking headquarters and take Mohamed Sanu's job. Julio Jones is already there. They got the two-headed monster at running back and Freeman and Coleman, and I'm just afraid of the touches and the targets that are going to be available for Calvin.
They've got so much sex. What do you do with all that sex? One of the reasons I like the signing a lot is remembering back a couple of years ago with Taylor Gabriel and how Kyle Shanahan was able to really scheme touches for him to get him open, get him into space, taking the lids off defenses and things like that.
Free agent bear find Taylor Gabriel.
But again, to kind of, it's tough to really base a guy's fantasy value off if he's going to have the ball schemed to him on a given day or not. For a guy that's 189 pounds, I mean, he was second in team history at Alabama with 224 catches. Second in receiving touchdowns.
Is that behind his teammate Julio Jones? Are those numbers behind his teammate Julio Jones?
I think so. The second in team history. That's what I got out of it. That was over his 3 years as a starter there. Again, kind of given sort of that Taylor Gabriel element to it, but he also dropped 20 passes in 3 seasons. I mean, maybe he's
not really a physical guy.
No, he's not like our boy DJ Moore out there. Where DJ is more of that physical receiver, Calvin's more of that finesse. He has that polish to his route trees.
I mean, this hurts the value of Julio Jones and Sanu as well. I think it's all just a big pie stealing party going on there.
There's too much sex.
There's too much going on. It's going to be, I mean, you're going to run out Julio Jones regardless of his 3 touchdowns last year. Regardless of anything, you're running him out here every single fucking week. So it's going to be a little bit hard to judge. I mean, in Dynasty, Calvin Ridley is going to be a very easy hold and a wait and see out there. Wait for Mohamed Sanu to fuck off. Yep. Maybe Julio to get a little bit more longer in the tooth. Maybe he fucks off. Right. Maybe Julio Jones can get the Roddy White treatment in a couple of years. He might be riding over the sunset like Calvin Ridley's taking over the job, but that's to be seen because Calvin Ridley is not the same athlete as Julio Jones.
Nowhere near the same kind of just walk on the field talent I think that Julio Jones is and continues to be.
Yeah, another guy I like in Cortland Sutton, he just had a terrible landing spot for the Broncos, having to play behind Demarius and Emmanuel Sanders right off the bat. I mean, in redraft, this guy is just kind of like late round dart throw.
And again, we've got Case Keenum throwing him the ball. The only real way I think he steps into any kind of value is if there's an injury to one of those top 2 receivers. Yeah. And even then, Case Keenum.
I mean, I know Viking fans. Case Keenum went out there and was your Lord.
He had a magical season, baby. Magic happens.
He closed his eyes. He threw that ball, and it somehow got it sexy and in the NFC Championship game. But I think it's pumpkin time. I think it's pumpkin time for Case Keenum.
It's midnight. The glass slippers come off, baby.
The glass slipper is no longer there, and the chariot is now a fucking dirty pumpkin.
But yeah, to kind of wrap that up too. Again, only seeing any kind of values if one of those guys gets hurt.
Yeah.
And who knows what that'll be.
A guy might get in, this is another guy who's probably going to be getting some snaps right off the bat. Talking about some Michael Gallup, 4th most yards after the catch in the NCAA last year. Going to Dallas where it's just a fucking warm body fest. And Alan Hearns, the fucking mesh squirrel Cole Beasley. And who else they fucking got? Terrence Williams, who has been a perennial underperformer.
Oh, baby. And they might not have a tight end.
They might not even have a tight end. The Eagles jumped in front of him in the draft and fucking snaked that tight end from him, too. They said, put it in your butt, Cowboys. They fucking went out there. We got a couple more guys to run through. James Washington for the Steelers, another bad landing spot. He's got to fuck around with Antonio Brown, who is the greatest wide receiver in the game right now. And we're talking about Juju, who just came off an incredible out-of-nowhere rookie season, who allowed the Steelers to take that 3rd round pick and a little bit extra for a guy in a contract year. And Martavis Bryant, tell him to fucking...
The one thing I will say about our boy here is that, if anything, it's an indictment of Eli Rogers. They get rid of Martavis Bryant. They ship his ass off, fleecing John Gruden in the process. And
John Gruden.
What's Eli Rogers shown us? He had a little bit of some puff pieces at the beginning of last year.
The Raiders are in a hard spot here because they paid the piper for Martavis Bryant, and you can't go out there and offer him an extension now without him playing any games because that's burying yourself even further if he doesn't pan out. So you're running the risk of he does pan out, and now you either got to pay this guy mega money or let him walk and basically wipe your ass with that 3rd round pick.
Absolutely, man. What are you doing, John Gruden? Why?
Completely insane. We got a couple other guys who, the Niners, Dante Pettis, he ran a 4.740. He had 9 punt returns for the NCAA. Fucking, that's a record. So maybe that's more of what they're thinking about. Maybe just going to be their punt returner guy. Because kick returns are kind of dead. They're thinking about getting rid of him. completely, but punt returns are
Dark.
very
Darkness.
much alive. So nine career punt returns in college. So I mean, this guy's coming. He's got to deal with Marquise Goodwin. He's got to deal with Pierre Garçon, and Marquise Goodwin did come on, get it sexy for you last year. I'm not so on the Pierre Garçon, but I think there's no way they don't give him the starting nod.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely running him and Goodwin out there together week one. I think see what shakes out. As a guy who had stock in Marquise Goodwin last year, I would love nothing more than for him to pick up where he left off. Realistically, I'll wait and see.
And what we almost forgot about our boy.
Who's our boy out there?
The Bears.
Oh, Bears.
We almost forgot about the boy.
This is for you, Chicago.
This is all in. When I heard the pick, wasn't very familiar with the Memphis squad. Dial this guy up. He's like 5'11". You're like, I don't know, Bears. But you look at this fucking guy. Holy shit.
Watch him.
You watch this highlight reel. This guy, there have been only 3 seasons in which a Memphis wide receiver has eclipsed 1,000 yards. Only 3 seasons. One of which went to the Reverend Isaac Bruce. Reverend Isaac Bruce ended up with 1,000 career receptions and 15,000 career receiving yards. And at the time when he went over 15,000 career receiving yards in 2009, he was the second man to do it after Jerry Rice. So I know a lot of guys like T.O., all the T.O., the Randy Mosses, all those fuckers.
Right.
They've done it since then. But at the time, he was the second guy to do it. Isaac Bruce, the Reverend. We're talking about borderline Hall of Famer. And the other 2 seasons, there was 3 seasons total. One of them Isaac Bruce. The other 2, our boy, Bears, Anthony Miller. Who was, back-to-back 1,400 yarders?
Back to back, baby. This is for you, Chicago.
I mean, you watch this fucking guy. This guy, you ever watch this guy talk? He is not lacking confidence whatsoever. Sir. He is oozing the machismo, baby.
He is such a Chicago player. He's a
oozing
fucking grinder out there, man. He is just a physical guy fighting for yards, man. I loved every second of the tape I saw in him, man. I absolutely loved it. With his, if he would have been a couple inches taller, he might have been a top 10 pick.
If he was 6'2" or 6'3", fuck.
I mean, dude,
shoo-in.
The other thing.
Even playing for a school like Memphis.
Yeah, come on. What are they doing out there?
That's why I didn't know much about him, because who the fuck knows about Memphis football? I mean, sorry, dudes that know about Memphis football. I am not one of you.
We love you, Elvis, and all, but
I was listening to the radio. I heard his name. I started dialing in, looking at what he has to offer, and I was like, Ryan Pace might have fucking cornholed this one, baby.
I mean, dude, it's got to be. I could just read this all day. This kid goes for 1,400 yards 2 seasons in a row, after making the team as a walk-on. No respect. No respect at all. For a guy also who is so natural at reading a defense and finding gaps in zone coverages and just sitting in those gaps and waiting. He's just he's a steal. I know that
Bears team, you're looking at Cameron Meredith's out of town. You're looking at Kevin White he's a fucking chandelier. I mean, I'm not even sure he's a real person.
He's a ghost.
He's on the roster, but we never see him. Not convinced he really exists. So we got Allen Robinson, who's coming off an ACL. If he can stay healthy, he's probably going to look to be a target monster. Okay. But this guy, we might be talking about the number 1 rookie wide receiver production-wise his first year.
I think that is honestly a possibility.
We might be looking at Calvin Ridley, bad landing spot in Atlanta. Yeah. DJ Moore, nothing too sexy. Going down to Carolina, and I think those are the only 2 dudes that can even begin to fuck with the Bears, boy, and Anthony Miller.
And too with Atlanta, that guy's gonna start the season 3rd on the depth chart. I would imagine. So you're looking at 2 boys in DJ Moore and Anthony Miller.
There's no reason for the Bears to hand Kevin White anything.
No.
You're earning it like the fucking rest of us, you dick bum.
Absolutely.
I know people reports like, he's in the best shape of his life. So
have you seen him? He looks jacked.
So he can look strong and sit his ass on the sideline come week 2 when he fucking hurts himself like a little fucking bitch. All right. I think that about wraps it up, boys. If you like this shirt, baby, you want one of these,
we love them.
Go fuck yourself because you can't get one, baby.
We love them, but you can't have them.
subscribe.
Maybe.
I'd like the cut of our jib. Give us a subscribe. Give us a share out there. Tell
Please.
your friends about us,
Please.
you know. Give us some comments. We missed anybody that you wanted us to talk about? Comment it below. We'll get at you. We'll talk to you in the comments. I'm always responding to the fucking comments. Subscribe, share, hit that little notification bell, dinga-linga-linga.
Yeah.
Get on that shit,
Tell
baby.
your friends.
All
Tell your
fucking
figures. Shout out to the figures for making appearances.
Oh.
Shout out to the bear.
in. Come on, baby.
I think that's a wrap.
all in. All right.
I'm sorry.